you started to talk about the disconnect that we see between the gold price and the gold stocks. And I think probably a lot of people here would like to hear more about that and when that may start to move a little bit more as we would like.
Oh, sure. This is for this audience, I'd say if there's one single thing I can talk about that is, I hope, going to make you money in 2024, it's what's going on today with this disconnect, this crazy, unprecedented in my career disconnect between the gold price and gold equities. So gold prices have gone up and up and up. Gold price has gone up $200 in the last just few months. $200. The gold equities have traded down across the board. The gold seniors, the gold intermediates, the gold juniors, they've all traded down. So typically gold trades in tandem with the gold equities. Sometimes a little, so there's just minor little disconnects here and there. But in 2022, late 2022, and all through 2023, we have had this increasing, illogical, bizarre disconnect between higher gold prices and lower gold equities. So the obvious question is, from today on, what's going to happen? When you look at a 40-year, and I've been in the public company game now for about 38 years, 39 years almost. And, I've seen a lot of cycles, a lot of changes in cycles. And typically, they trade in tandem. So I'm going to say in 2023, we had a situation which was unique in my entire career. Unique in my entire career, where we've had this there's just no buyers for gold equities, just no buyers at all. It's a strike. Is that going to change? It will change. I'm going to go on 1 year of strangeness versus sort of 38 years of an ordinary pattern. And I'm going to suggest that we're going to go back to that ordinary pattern. Either the gold price is going to crater, or the gold equities are going to bounce back to get back to that correlation that they've had for so many years, so many decades. And this means today, since I'm bullish on gold, I don't think gold's going to crater. There's actually going to be a very happy and a very significant move in gold equities across the board in 2024. Again, I don't know when, I don't know by how much, but I'll suggest that it'll happen before any of us know it's happened. There will be a great temptation to sell positions you've got right now that you might have made 5 or 10 or 20% on. Maybe sell a bit, but resist the trend, resist the tendency to sell, to take a short profit, a small profit, because when this reequilibration happens, it's going to be immediate, it's going to be huge, you're going to get a double or a triple, and that's when you make the real money. You buy today. I'm not really an investor per se, I'm a developer, I develop companies, but I'm starting to buy right now. And I haven't done this in 5 years as an investor. I've started to buy because I just cannot sit back and believe in my heart that these equities are going to bounce without wanting to capitalize on it.
Quick break here, guys. Today's episode is brought to you by Coppernico Metals. Now, regular viewers of my channel will be familiar with the entrepreneur behind Coppernico. His name is Ivan Bebek. Now, although a young man in this business, Ivan's already created tremendous value for his shareholders in the past, namely with Caden Resources, which he sold to Agnico Eagle, and Keegan Resources, which became a mine now owned by Galiano Gold. Now, Ivan has surrounded himself with expertise from BHP, Newmont, and VRIC on his board at Coppernico Metals. Check out coppernicometals.com. Now back to the interview.
I sort of harken back to, say, 2001, when I was sitting there running Pan American Silver. Silver prices were all-time low. Copper prices an all-time low. It was just a horrible time to be in the business. Every company in the world was losing money. The equity prices were on the floor. I wasn't an investor, but I went and bought a whole bunch of copper deposits because I could see the copper price was trading at an all-time low and was likely to bounce. And that was a very happy trade for me. It made a lot of money for me and all the people that have invested with me in that business. Right now, I'm not running a fund. I'm running one big gold mining company that's trading really, really cheaply. I expect it's going to have a wonderful run this year, Equinox Gold. And I've got an interest in one or two juniors. The main one for me is Lumina Gold, which, today Lumen is an example of this disconnect. Lumen is trading for about $150, $140 million market cap. It just did a pre-feasibility study on a deposit it has in Ecuador that has a $2.2 billion net present value at $1,650 gold. I mean, the valuation disconnect it's ridiculous. So I'm kind of feeling that, but I'm going back into the market. I'm going to buy a handful of juniors, and I'm going to, I think, have a pretty successful year investing in those companies at the same time as watching Lumina Gold appreciate significantly and Equinox Gold do as well.
I wondered if we could expand on where you're seeing opportunities. I know last year was a pretty tough one for the juniors. Now you're looking to get back in. Can you share anything about commodity or company stage, any other details?
Sure. I mean, my sweet spot has generally been companies that are well run, so good people, with deposits that are big, scale's important, that look like they don't have any fatal flaws. I'm not too jurisdiction worried. I don't really. You can get really cute if you start doing jurisdictional screening, but you can be too cute on that, because very often a terrible jurisdiction today becomes a great jurisdiction tomorrow, and it's companies that are in those terrible places that turn good, which have really, really fast rebounds. And the reverse is true too. You can have a great place. Actually, we thought Panama was a great place, and then look what happened with poor old, First Quantum. They had this giant new copper mine just basically stolen from them. The government shut it down. It's just unbelievable. So these things happen. So I would say the sweet spot for me is those sort of, companies that have a resource that's defined, looks like it's got no fatal flaws, has good people, access to a decent amount of capital. That's where I mean, the example would be one that I just had a happy ending on in December, a company called Osino, which is a gold company in Namibia that had an exploration property that was just bought by Dundee. And that was really nice because you get a really good premium, and then you can roll that into something else. So there's value across the board today. It's the value proposition is all about risk and reward. So if you have a gold stock that has a lot of risk in it, it's likely to be very cheap. So you can buy it cheaply, and if the risk never happens, the reward is huge. You get this great run, but you have to take a lot of risk. So the strategy for me is have a portfolio, have some exploration stocks, pure exploration, have a few intermediate plays, and then have a few producers. Have some intermediate producer like Equinox that's going from one tier to another, because as it grows and goes from one tier to another, the valuations get better. The price to net asset value gets better. So getting bigger is wealth creating by itself, right? So a senior producer trades for 1 times net asset value, a junior producer 0.8 or 0.6, and a small producer 0.4 or 0.3. And as you get bigger, you get that value bump by itself. So it's a strategy that works.